guys. Sorry, what am I, 8 or 9 minutes late? I think I'm 9 minutes late now. Sorry. So I'm waiting for a couple of people to join, but I won't wait too long because I don't want to take up your Saturday. So I wanted to share some news with you all. I've been pretty absent from my social media as far as posting about my blog. I've been absent from my blog. Just really not as present as I should be and would have been in the last few months. So I pretty much just really wanted to share with you some things that I have been going through. Starting pretty much in January, I had been experiencing some symptoms. And I'll get into what those symptoms are in a little while, but I didn't really know what it was, and I was actually scared. And you know how some people are really scared to go to the doctor because they're kind of afraid of what they're going to find out? I had never been this person, but I think it's because every inch of my body has always been okay my whole life. Every time I've gone to the doctor, but this time I just kind of knew that it had to be something serious and not anything minute. So, starting in January, I started having some symptoms, and it kind of eased back until I think it was February. I had really severe pain, and I decided to schedule a doctor's appointment, and I went. So I went to the doctor, I think it was March, and I had pretty much self-diagnosed because, you know, when you get freaked out and you have these symptoms, you Google, what are those symptoms? Google the best doctor and tell you everything. So I Googled what my symptoms were, and they gave me a few different things that it could be, but I narrowed it down to 2. And one was definitely like, okay, it's this one. And if it's not this one, then it's definitely the second one. So I went to the doctor. I went to a primary care physician, and I pretty much told her my symptoms. And she was just like, oh, yeah, no, it's not that. It's nothing. It's probably the fact that she blamed it on my medicine that I had been taking from my dermatologist. And I was like, what? I'm sitting here telling you these are the symptoms that I'm feeling, and I know that it's nothing, and you can stop dismissing me like I don't know what I'm talking about. No, I don't have the degree that you have, but I know my body. I'm at least an expert at that. So, I just went for my annual, got that taken care of. And then I said, you know what? So I think some weeks passed, and I was like, no, I'm not crazy. So, what actually happened was someone that my husband knows was pretty much talking to him about her diagnosis and some of the things that she had been experiencing. And he was like, you sound just like my wife, like exactly what she's going through. So he came home and he told me, he was like, babe, she was telling me this and this, and it sounded just like you. And I was like, wow, it really does sound just like me. So, I reached out to her, and she pretty much had told me what her diagnosis was, how she deals with it, and the doctor that she goes to. So I was like, I'm going to go to your doctor. So I scheduled an appointment with her doctor, and I love her. Her name is Dr. Winner. She is amazing. She's minimally invasive gynecology, and I have always struggled with finding people that I've always struggled with finding people that doctors, mail, text, anybody. So I was really happy to find this person. So anyway, fast forward, I went to the doctor. I told her what was going on, some of the pains that I had been having. So she scheduled a ultrasound for me. And I'm like, no. So I went to the ultrasound, and I know it wasn't crazy. I had a cyst on my right ovary. And they were like, well, it's pretty small, not too bad. But I'm like, but it causes me severe pain. It had been episodes where I was hunched over, and I literally couldn't stand up. I couldn't move. Pain shooting through my rectum, shooting through my pelvic area, my vaginal, I mean, just shooting everywhere. And I'm like, this is not right. Tears, my back's hurting, everything. Um, Pain that I had never experienced in my life. So my doctor gave me a call. She told me, it does look like it's a cyst on your ovaries. So she pretty much said, well, it may be an endometrioma or just a regular cyst. And she said, but we have to do more tests to even determine what that is. So she said, well, I'm going to give you birth control. I want you to take it for about, I think she said about 2 months. And it should help, have the cyst rupture, remove itself. Didn't happen. I think, was it 4 or 5 weeks into me taking the birth control, which I do not like. I do not take birth control. It's a steroid. It doesn't do well for my body. But I wanted to feel better, and I wanted to follow doctor's orders. So, and in hopes of alleviating that pain. So I took the birth control. It wasn't helping with the pain at all. It didn't minimize anything. And I'm thinking when I'm in some pain, it's hitting me really hard. So I'm thinking that maybe the cyst is rupturing and, it's getting better. And it didn't. So I was in such severe pain. I was on the couch crying, and my back was hurting, my pelvic was hurting, and I couldn't move, I couldn't bend. My whole core was just restricted. And Anthony got on the phone and called the doctor's office. It was like, her appointment's on the 12th. This was, I think it was early in the month. I think it was like the first or like the beginning of the end of the previous month. And he was like, she has to get in immediately. She needs to get in. So he got me another ultrasound. They did an ultrasound, I think it was 6 weeks after. The ultrasound it determined, actually, the woman who did my ultrasound, she told me, she said, oh yeah. She said, from the pictures that I saw from your last ultrasound to now, it looks like your cyst has doubled in size. And I'm like, what? It's doubled in size. So it doubled in size, and of course it freaked me out. Because I'm like, and she said, it definitely looks like an endometrioma. So I'm like, okay, what does that mean? I have endometriosis. And she's like, I'm not your doctor. I don't want to do that. So I'll wait till one of the doctors come in. I have her look at it, and she can really kind of tell you what'll happen. So I waited around. One of the doctors came in, and she told me that, yeah, it looks like endometrioma, and those don't remove it. We have to remove them. They don't remove it themselves. So she was like, your doctor should pretty much be calling you in another day and telling you what your results are and giving you some options. So my doctor did call me. I went into the office, and she pretty much told me that my cyst was about this big on my right ovary, if I'm I think it's correct. But yeah, she's about 6 centimeters. She said it's fairly large, and that's causing you a lot of your pain. And I was like, what does this mean? Because, of course, I've been Google University, and they've been telling me all different symptoms and effects, and I'm like, I know it's no cure for it. So I'm freaking out, and I'm like, okay, so what are the options? She said, you can have surgery, or you can keep it. So I'm like, okay, well, surgery has to be the option because I'm in such severe pain that it's not an option to just keep it in. So first, let me read to you what endometriosis is. It's still new to me. Like I said, I've only had this diagnosis for about a month now, but I've had the symptoms for at least 6 months. So according to Mayo Clinic, endometriosis is a painful disorder in which tissue that normally lines the inside of the uterus, the endometrioma, grows outside your uterus. Endometriosis most commonly involves your ovaries, fallopian tubes, and tissues lining your pelvis. So it's very rare. In rare cases, endometriosis tissue may spread beyond your pelvic organs, but it is possible. So what happens is sometimes, how my doctor explained it to me, and like I said, I'm still learning. the pain is different for all women who have it. It's different. Everyone has a different story. So my pain in my stomach, so pretty much retrograde. When you're on your menstrual cycle, sometimes that blood streams back, and you pretty much kind of um, bleed into your stomach sometimes. And what the problem with endometriosis is it causes scar tissue. So I know one of the long-term effects of endometriosis is scar tissue, and over time it continues to build up. I hadn't known anything about it, and I know that is what causes infertility in women with endometriosis. So, I freaked out a lot because I had always known that even since I was in high school, I've always had like extremely bad cycles, just pain wise. I had missed days of school and things like that. And according to studies, endometriosis, there's signs of it early on in age, but many women are not diagnosed with it until their mid-20s, late 20s. So, yeah, I have endometriosis, and it has been a very long ride these last few months. I guess my symptoms have been far worse than the people that I've spoken with who do have endometriosis. I didn't know my aunt has it, and she's actually on her third surgery because endometriosis is a disease and there is no cure for it. So although I'm gonna have surgery on Monday to have all the scar tissue that I have inside of me removed and the cyst on my right ovary removed, it can come back, and the scar tissue will form again, and therefore it could cause infertility. I'm not claiming that because I know that I'm gonna have some kids, but what happens is it causes infertility issues in women, and if they do want to conceive, they pretty much have to have a surgery again and have that tissue removed. So, what I wanted to do was, I guess throughout this whole process, I have been wanting to hear other people's stories about it because I wanted to know, well, you have it, how has it affected you? Or you have it, what were your symptoms? Because I know it's different for women. But while I was searching the internet, it was hard for me to find that. I couldn't find other women's stories or other women who pretty much said that they dealt with the things that I dealt with, because I didn't want to feel like I was crazy or I was just being dramatic. But there weren't really many stories out there. Endometriosis is also known as the silent disease. A lot of people don't talk about it, and it's actually pretty high percentage in African American women, Black women. So what I have decided to do is document my pain that I experienced with endometriosis. I'm going to document my surgery, my recovery, everything, and everything will be available on my YouTube channel so that it can educate other women. Some women now probably are suffering from the same symptoms that I have and don't even know that they have it because they're just dealing with pain, because I definitely didn't know. So I definitely want to use what I have to educate other women about it. No, endometriosis is not a sexually transmitted disease. No, endometriosis does not have a cure. And no, it does not mean that you will not have kids. And no, it does not mean your life is over. So I definitely want to clear that up because I know I had a lot of questions. So some of the symptoms that I have had are, like I said, severe pelvic pain, swelling of the stomach, extreme bloating, tenderness to touch of my pelvic area, stomach area, pain shooting through your rectum, pain, lower back pain, also pain with urination and bowel movements. It really is painful. I can't even describe it, how much it has been hurting me. Actually, this week was my last week of work prior to being on medical leave, and I missed Monday through Wednesday due to severe pain. I had went to work on Monday. No, Monday I didn't go to work. I was woken up by pain at 5 a.m. and I didn't want to wake Anthony, so I just stripped out my clothes and I went and laid in the shower, which I found has soothed some of my pain. Sometimes it has not taken it away because once I get out of the shower, it is gone. But I've laid in the shower and I've let the water hit my pelvic area. But the issue is getting out of the shower and drying off and doing normal things that you should be able to do had become a hindrance for me because I wasn't able to do that. So I definitely had to wake my husband up and he had to dry me off because I couldn't bend over to wipe down my legs. And I'm not going to cry about it because it's like it just sucks. But I didn't put any clothes on and I was just pretty much on the floor, leaned over the bed and crying, naked, and I couldn't move. It really feels like it paralyzes your body because the pain is so uncontrollable. It's almost like 1,000 knives stabbing you, and your stomach, you can touch it so firmly, so softly, and it'll hurt. But I'm not going to go into all the details of all of my symptoms and all of my pain and the surgery and everything because I want to save that because I'm going to document that for other women who want to know what endometriosis is, who may be having those same symptoms and looking for answers, or women who have just gotten a diagnosis, or some men whose wives have been diagnosed with it and they don't know what they can do to help their wives. My husband, I've seen a look on his face where he's like, I don't know what to do, and I hate seeing you like this. But just knowing that he's there and he's put the heating pad on me or makes me dinner and things like that. So this week I haven't eaten much. I'm still trying to get better. I'm still actually having some pelvic pain, but it wasn't as bad as it was earlier this week, thank God. I haven't cried today from the pain, so that's a miracle. And we're going to go see Incredibles. So I'm really excited about it. But, actually, this was a description that I found online. And it's the only description that I found online that explained some of my pain. The pain leaves me doubled up, unable to move. You will often find me curled up in a tight ball on the floor. It shoots through me like an electrical shock, burning. I can feel it like contractions or tightenings with intense pain coming and going every few minutes. Endometriosis also causes sporadic pain. Sometimes these pains ache away for days on end, but other times they would take my breath away with how sharp and sudden they are. For no apparent reason, my tummy can swell and become hard. When this happens, it feels like everything inside swells and fights for space. That was literally the only thing that I found online. Thanks, babe. The only thing that I found online, and I sent that to my husband because I was trying to give him a description of how I felt. So that was the only thing that I could find online with even an ounce of how I was feeling. So I was just like, this is unfair. Like, I need to know that I'm not the only one dealing with this. So, yeah, I have literally been documenting myself when I'm in my worst pain and crying and laid up, unable to move or sit up, unable to eat. And I have documented that for you all to see because people need to actually see what it does to you. I have also, my surgery's on Monday at 5:30 in the morning. I'm going to create a video that discusses what doctor's orders were for pre-surgery, the things that they gave me, told me to do, and when I'm going into surgery. When I come off my anesthesia, and I am about to head home. I'm going to document everything. I'm on leave from work for 3 to 4 weeks. Actually, I need to look at my FMLA paperwork. And I'm going to document it all for you. I haven't been able to eat this week, so we have gotten lots of fruits and veggies to make smoothies and juice because I know that I'm going to struggle keeping food down. So I pretty much just wanted to share that with you all because I've been so transparent with my marriage. I've been transparent with within my blog, and this is the only thing that I haven't shared with anyone. I wanted to first know what it was, deal with it, try to educate myself a little bit more. And like I said, I'm still learning about this disease, but I want God to use me as a vessel. When life throws you lemons, you have to make lemonade, and work still has to be done. Never ask why me. You ask what can you do with the situation that you're in. God has given, for whatever reason, He saw fit for me to have it. I'm not sure if He knew that I was strong enough to deal with it, or I could vocalize it. Whatever it was, He said He saw fit for me to have this disease. And because He saw fit, I'm going to be a vessel and use my testimony to bless other women with it, educate women, and we're going to start a movement. Men don't even have to deal with half of the things we deal with as women. Birth, menstrual cycles. Men don't even know what endometriosis was. And matter of fact, they wouldn't even be able to deal with the pain that I've been dealing with. When they get a little cold and they coughing, and women, we just soldiers. We soldiers and we deal with it. We pull our bootstraps up and we go. So I'm just thankful that it wasn't anything that could take my life. I still have my life, and although there are some hindrances on some of the things that I'll be able to do, and I know there'll still be pain. I know there's a possibility for all these different things, but I also know that there is a God, my God, who makes all things possible. So I thank Him, and I thank y'all for tuning in and listening to me. I won't be absent anymore. I am back. I'm going to share with you my journey. I'm back to my blog. I'm back to everything. And I just thank y'all for being patient with me and supporting me. And yeah, so pretty much what you can do is go over to my YouTube. The link will be in the description. Go over to my YouTube, subscribe, and my surgery's on Monday. So just be prepared to receive all of my testimony and share it to people that you know who may have those certain symptoms or people who do have it, and encourage them to step up and talk about it too. Let's stop being quiet about the things that we experience and share our stories with people. So I love y'all, and I thank y'all for tuning in. I wasn't going to take too much of your time. And just make sure you go over and subscribe to the YouTube and share it and watch it. I love y'all.